Hello everybody and welcome back to the next tutorial from Terragon.de. And in this tutorial we want to see how to use an artificial music generator and record the MIDI tones directly into Cubase to produce a song that is 100% composed by artificial intelligence. And we start with our online tutorial here on Terragon.de, which is in German actually, so that's why I make this tutorial in English, so you can follow the steps. And the basic tool will be the Performance RNN. That is an open source artificial music generator. That's this generating melodies based on a neural network, piano style. The only problem is that in Firefox, for example, the MIDI output does not work. So I go back here, I just want to show. We will see later in Chrome it's not a problem, because the Performance RNN is an online MIDI generator that can export MIDI if your browser is supporting that, but Firefox at the moment doesn't support that. So we scroll down and we have a look at what we want to make. We want to make a connection between the Performance RNN in the browser and route the MIDI information directly into Cubase and produce the song with that. And after we have the MIDI data into Cubase, we can add instruments like we want. So the first step will be to install a special MIDI driver that allows us to simulate a MIDI port or a MIDI driver that you can select in the browser, and you can select also in Cubase for import. So you don't need an external MIDI device or a keyboard that is translating or that is forwarding the MIDI information into Cubase. So you can install that here. Go to download, loop BE1, and you can download it here for up to Windows 10. Install that, and I've already done that, so I will not show because it's very simple. It's just installing, and you don't need to reboot. It's just working. Okay, so you get the URL, of course, here also on Terragon.de. Step 2 is to open the Chrome browser, or if you don't have, to install the Chrome browser, because Chrome supports the MIDI export function. So when you click on the third link here, it is the MIDI piano, or is this the Performance RNN portation of Terragon.de from the open source project. So you can also go, of course, to the original source, but I uploaded it here to have it for the future without changes that are probably made. In Chrome, I just copied here the URL, and we have here two options: MIDI in, we don't want to use that, we only use MIDI out. And in Chrome we can choose if we want to send the MIDI information that is generated here to the keyboard, to the audio device, or that is only visible after you've installed loop.be, the internal MIDI driver that we have just installed. And when you choose that, the MIDI tones here that are generated by the artificial intelligence are directly exported into this driver. Here you can change the style of the melodies that are generated. You can choose yeah, the major sound of the music, but you can also let it like automatic mode, that is here conditioning off, so you cannot make any conditions, it's just automatic. Okay, we leave it like that, and we will see the next step 4. That is just you have to keep this browser here open all the time so that it can play in the background. And step 5 is to open Cubase. Of course, you can use any other music production tool that you are using. Only important that it has MIDI support. I have here Cubase 5, and for example, we choose configuration, and here are normally the quick controls that we have to configure the MIDI input. And the MIDI input, after you've installed the driver, you will see here loop BE internal MIDI. You can change to that if you don't have a separate keyboard or something, but you can also choose all MIDI inputs. Then Cubase will, or the software will listen to your own piano and the generated sound, so you can mix also. So all MIDI input is recognized. So like you can see here in the toolbar already, because in the background here the piano is playing in the browser. You can see here, it doesn't work, so I close again. You see here the MIDI input that is coming from Chrome. So now the next step is very simple. You can record. So that's what we want to do. We make a new instrument track here. I will just choose a dummy. And we see here the MIDI information is coming, and when we click here record, it's just recording. So that's enough for the beginning. And you can see here when you click on the MIDI file that he's now playing, still playing, because the Chrome browser is still open. So I will go back here and close the tab so that there will be no new music. And here you can see what we've just recorded, the original MIDI input data here. And these melodies or these MIDI information will be different all the time you record the the neural network, because it's generating on the fly new melodies all the time, so it will never be the same. So every piece of music here will be individual, but I realized that the original MIDI sound is not appropriate for all the instruments, but we will have a short look here. What we can do now, because we have the MIDI information, we can go into our software, into our music creation tool, and for example we can choose if we want to what kind of instruments we want to use with our generated MIDI. So we can use strings, or we can use piano, of course. It's depending on the style of music you want to create. But I close it now because that is depending on the software you're using. So yeah, more or less that was everything. If you're interested in the first samples I made, the first 2 songs that are generated exactly like this were made in a few minutes. I only added the video in the background, so you can see here on Terragon.de what kind of music I've created. So, and when I make something new, I will post it again on this homepage. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and I wish you much fun creating your own music.